G3CB Business Spotlight, brought to you by the Canadian Chamber of Commerce in Hong Kong.
I'm Rosemary Goder, co-founder of Systematic Edge and member of the executive committee at the Canadian Chamber of Commerce in Hong Kong. And today I'm here speaking to Joseph Fung, managing partner at Soltogen Ventures. Joseph is a member of the executive committee at the Canadian Chamber of Commerce and will be the chair of an exciting panel discussion during the upcoming Trans-Pacific Conference about accessing capital for startups that are fundraising. This panel discussion will be held January 21st and promises to be super informative. So please watch out for details coming from the Canadian Chamber or in the G3CB LinkedIn group. Joseph, it seems that you are a very busy man. In addition to a new baby, so congratulations, you're also running 3 businesses: Fairchild Capital Management, Fairchild Canadian Academy, and Soltogen Ventures, of course. So, however, today I'd like to focus on your venture capital firm, Soltogen Ventures. So can you tell us a little about your investment focus?
Hi, Rosemary. So thank you very much for inviting me on this podcast, and it's a pleasure to be on here. I'd love to tell you a little bit more about Soltogen Ventures. So I'm the managing partner of our venture capital fund, and we primarily focus on early stage deep technology startups. And I emphasize deep technology is that we see that oftentimes for startups, in order to be successful and to scale up, they have to have not just only a strong business component, but also a technical component. We see that, there may be different angles in which other venture capital funds kind of focus on growth. But for the deep technology component, it allows us and the startups to be much more defensible, especially at early stages, because they find a solution oftentimes for a problem that is very, very niche. And these problems can be disruptive massively on maybe 1 or 2 orders of magnitude much larger than, the current solutions. What is necessary for the technical component to be important for defensibility is that, they also have a large patent portfolio, and there are also high entries or barrier for other competitors in that field. Now, of course, the trade-off for deep technology investment is that you have to do the technical assessment and due diligence much more clearly, and having a team of proper advisors and investment specialists that understand the opportunities and the pitfalls in that specific space. But I would say that we would look at it, it's much more important from a research angle to actually conduct a proper due diligence and understand the risk that we're actually jumping into, especially when we take on lead positions for startups and also board positions oftentimes, in which we typically follow on. So that means is that as we get to invest in a startup, not just at the first stage, maybe at seed, and as it grows into Series A, we'll probably be following up with multiple rounds. We get a very clear picture and understand the risk and the needs of these startups much more clearly than just a single round investment.
Thank you for that detailed explanation. Now, Joseph, the Canadian Chamber in Hong Kong is excited that you'll be involved in the upcoming Trans-Pacific Conference. So as a sneak peek on the theme of your panel discussion, can you give the G3CB community some advice on successfully growing a startup, since you've invested in so many? And can you also include a few tips on what makes a difference in those that are successful fundraising and those that are not?
Yes, the Trans-Pacific Conference. I'm very excited for that, and I think the Canadian Chamber is going to do a great job of this. So, of course, I'm trying to help out a little bit on one of the panels, especially on innovation, and also how different ecosystems over here in Asia can work closely, with ecosystems over North America. So, I see that, we're talking about these, there's a push and a pull earlier, the push for growing companies and scaling them out beyond North America, and kind of showcasing the best of, Canadian technology, and then this demand, that's coming out from Asia, and the, growing understanding that there's so much value that can be extracted from these companies as they land, and to work in the different communities and to find, solutions for a lot of these corporates, or even within the large market space. It's something that is very exciting, from a pull side as well too. And so there may be, startup founders that see this opportunity coming out from Canada and would like to tap into this market over here in Hong Kong or in Greater Bay Area. And how can that be done properly? And I think looking at it from an investment angle is that I don't doubt that you guys would be excited about the startups that you're representing, and done some homework on both the needs of Asia and also competitors in that space. A lot of investors, there'll be a larger spread of perspective coming from investors here in Asia rather than that of angel investors or VC investors coming out from North America. So it takes a little bit of better guidance to give them kind of a framework of say for example, if you're fundraising, you're trying to set a valuation, set a term, and you need to issue a safe note or a convertible bond. A lot of investors here would probably prefer equity, but sometimes safe notes actually may be more valuable, not just from a founder's perspective, but also from the investor's perspective, is that it avoids issues of down rounds, especially when the market experiencing more volatility. You kind of want to portray yourself as a founder that understands not just a growing market, and you can be disruptive in a bullish market that what we were experiencing before, but how do you ensure continuance of a high risk investment from an investor's perspective, and to make sure that you're not just only spending well, but you also have multiple contingency plans, not just in terms of business, but also in terms of fundraising for the next rounds as well too. Those are very critical elements that you need to address so that the investors would understand, and to be more reassured, from their investment angle. Now, a lot of technology investors here in Hong Kong have a very diverse background, and they may be a little bit different from the people that have worked with Silicon Valley, investment teams as well. This includes a lot of people that are coming from an investment banking background that are looking at deals that would scale up very quick, or from property investment background or liquid stock market background. So I think their perspectives for risk appetite and also for the timing and all that might be quite different. But again, these are all individuals that takes time to really understand. And so you cannot just knock on the door, come over, for 1 or 2 meetings, bring your deck over and secure an investment. We don't really see that happening as much in Hong Kong. It takes time to build kind of that rapport. But we see that investments and investors would be coming at a much faster pace from the China area. So it is really worth also investigating, the Greater Bay Area, especially from investors who are well seasoned in investing in early stage technology. And there's a lot just right across the board in Shenzhen as well too. So when you come to Hong Kong, it's someplace that there's a lot of capital, there's a lot of sophistication of investment as well too. But you have to find the right investor match given the amount of time and prepare yourself for multiple rounds, in which you have to kind of share your paths and your plans to these potential investors. But I think in the end is that Hong Kong has so much value, and there's going to be so much more startups coming out from Canada and from the US going to Hong Kong as a first step to enter the the China gateway in that way, because we see that while US is always, well, not always, but has been the largest technology ecosystem up till now, there's a lot of value that can be extracted from these newer areas that has a lot of curiosity and a lot of capital. And I think CanCham and the Trans-Pacific Conference will be a great opportunity to kind of get guidance and navigation support in that way.
Joseph, thank you so much for your insights on accessing capital in Asia and advice about what has made your investments so successful. These podcasts are made to spotlight and support our amazing Canadian connected business community, operating from Canada to Greater China. And so thank you to everyone who has joined us today.